2021 seems to be a year for gaming series. I mean, I bet you didn't hear about Alice in Borderland until you were done watching Squid Game, right? The Japanese series ratings took off after Squid Game fans wanted more game series. It served the fans what they needed. Now, fans are hyped about the upcoming season, and I bet you are too. Keep watching to see what we know about Alice in Borderland Season 2. Firstly, let's talk about Alice in Borderland. Here's a little sneak peek about the show Alice in Borderland. The show is a Japanese survival thriller that is centered around friends Rohei, Karubi, and Koda, who find themselves transported to a parallel world devoid of people and forced to participate in survival games in order to find their way back. The show, which premiered back in 2020 in 190 countries, was once the most viewed live-action series in Japan last year, and it ranked in Netflix's top 10 in 40 countries and territories worldwide. Next, the release date. On November 9th, during the Netflix Festival Japan, Netflix Japan showed the world some details of the second season of Alice in Borderland. In the upper left corner of the screen, during a short interview with the series star Kento Yamazaki and Tao Tsuchiya, that text revealed that Alice in Borderland Season 2 is scheduled to premiere in December of 2022. The date is followed by the words Zensekai, which means the whole world, indicating that its release will not be exclusive to Japan, but to subscribers everywhere. The producers aim to release the second season of Alice in December 2022, approximately 2 years from the launch of the first season. Many fans are quite disappointed with how far the release date has been pushed. Everyone thought it'd probably arrive sooner than that, but with any luck, the second season will definitely be worth the wait. According to What's on Netflix, Alice in Borderland Season 2 began filming in July of this year and isn't set to finish until December. Since the release date is still very far from the production period, it suggests that the second season could have a number of visual effects sequences to iron out in post-production. Now let's talk filming location. We all got to see the Shibuya crossing in the first season, and anyone who's familiar with Tokyo must have thought, how did they manage to clear this location for this shoot? Well, they didn't. Indeed, rather than take on the near impossible task of completely clearing Shibuya Crossing, one of the busiest in Tokyo, it built a replica on a massive outdoor set in Ashikaga Tochigi Prefecture, more than 100 kilometers away from the real location. The streaming giant invested a lot of money and time into perfecting the first season of its Alice in Borderland adaptation. They went to great lengths to recreate an authentic Tokyo setting. Some of the things they used on the set in Season 1 were built from scratch. Remember the scene where Arisu and his friends run from the street to a public restroom? That scene was also filmed on this impressive set, with authentic ticket gates being built from scratch by the design team. Thanks to CGI, they were able to fill in backgrounds with the visual effects director going into intricate detail to make it feel as real as possible, such as by recreating the shadow of the 109 department store building opposite the station and many more. With the use of CGI and, of course, more set props, Alice in Borderland Season 2 will be filmed in the following locations: the Kanto area, Toyama, Hyogo, Fukuoka, Aichi, Osaka, and Wakayama. I'm pretty sure they'd blow our minds with their exquisite locations and impressive scenery in the second season. Now let's go over the cast. The streaming giant hasn't made any specific announcements about the Alice in Borderland cast for Season 2, but all the surviving players from the first outing are expected to return. And of course, as we saw in its Netflix Festival Japan trailer, the series leads Kento Yamazaki and Tao Tsuchiya, who portray skilled gamer Rohei Arisu, Kento Yamazaki's companion in the games, and mountaineer Yazuza Usagi respectively, will likely return for the second season. Given their presence in the initial marketing for Season 2, as well as their importance to the series and its ongoing story, both actors can be expected to return. Alice in Borderland creator Haru Aso revealed that Kento Yamazaki and Tao Tsuchiya characters are partially inspired by himself, as their characters reflect two distinct sides to his personality. I remembered how I was when I was around 20 years old and created Arisu based on my own indecisiveness, he said, added that Usagi is drawn from the part of him that is independent and doesn't need to rely on others. Among the supporting cast, we expect to see more from Nijiro Murakami as Shishiya, Aya Asahina as Kuina, Ayaka Miyoshi as Anne Rizuna, and Riisa Naka as Mira, who was set up as a major new villain in the series finale. Presumably, the cast of Alice in Borderland will welcome some new additions in the second season, but Netflix is yet to announce who exactly is joining the show. Now, the plot. Based on the graphic novels by Haru Aso, the show throws listless, jobless, and video game obsessed Arisu into an eerily empty alternate version of Tokyo, where he and his friends, as well as other contestants, are forced to fight for their lives in a series of twisted challenges. Unlike Squid Game, where the unfortunate participants were all killed except one winner, the residents of Borderland are simply trying to stay alive, with victory granting an extension to their visas in this strange new reality. Both Arisu and his closest in-game friend, Yuzua Usagi, ultimately survive the events of Season 1. They also manage to find out that Mira Kano, who initially presents herself as a helpful presence, is one of the architects architects behind the games and takes pleasure in the deaths of its participants. As the game goes on, Arisu meets several contestants and some of them turn out to be extremely terrible, just like Asahi Kujo, played by Mizuki Yoshida, and Momooka Inoue, who is played by Kina Yazaki. They turned out to be traitorous, but Arisu found out prior to their deaths late in the season. Tao Tsuchiya co-stars as Usagi, one of the first people Arisu encounters in the games. She was pretty good at playing the game as she was a skilled mountain climber before the alternate reality came to be. She became Arisu's ally in the Deadly Tournament. The first season of Alice in Borderland ended on a dark note with the ominous announcement that Arisu, Usagi, and the other surviving players would soon be put through the second round of Deadly Games. In a Reddit thread about the show's source material, a user estimates that Season 1 covers the events of roughly 29 out of a total of 64 manga chapters. Should Netflix continue to pull directly from the series source material, then Season 2 could very well include the manga's ending. Or should Netflix prefer to extend its hit series, new surprises could be in store for Usagi, Arisa, and each of the other remaining players fighting for their survival. Many of the series we watch are based on one story or another. Alice in Borderland isn't any different. The series is based on a manga collection by Haru Aso, and it was first published in serial format in the pages of Japan's Shonen Sunday magazines. Haru Asu's stories were later collected to form a series of books which spanned over 18 volumes. The stories were then published in Japanese for 5 years between 2011 and 2016. After the series became a success, the fans of the series also got some exciting news. It was announced that the Alice in Borderland manga was going to be translated into English, and the first volume would be released in March 2022. Many fans believe that this move was likely driven by the success of the Netflix series, as it made more Western readers pick up interest in the source materials. Next, the production team. The first season of Alice in Borderland was directed by Sato Shinsuke. However, before the second season of the show was confirmed, Sato revealed that he is currently working on the sequel to Kingdom, so it isn't particularly clear whether he will remain the director for the second season of Alice in Borderland. According to the interview, Sato also said he was overwhelmed by the positive response Alice in Borderland received from the viewers. He said, "I was looking at some of the reactions online to the show on Twitter and social media. Right after the release, after the running time of the total of the show, there were tweets saying that they actually had seen the whole thing and they were really looking forward to season 2. I'm really gratified and really happy that everybody's hoping for another season." Lastly, let's go over the trailer. The filming for the second season began in mid-July this year and isn't expected to wrap up production until December 2021. This means that not as much has been released from behind the scenes, and a trailer is the least to make it out right now. However, we expect to get our first full look at Alice in Borderland Season 2 in early 2022. Do you think the upcoming season is going to be as interesting as the first season? And what was your favorite game of the first season? Share your answers with us in the comments section below. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on post notifications to this channel. We have loads of exciting content for you.